whether you travel a lot and don't have access to a full equipped gym, or you just want some high quality body weight exercises and workouts that you can do anywhere you want, at home, in your basement, in a hotel room, traveling, in a hallway, closet, whatever, you're going to want to watch today's episode, because I got Jason Klein on the call today, and he's going to talk about his system, which is the interval cardio resistance training system, to get you in better shape and help you improve your fitness and fat loss. And that's all on today's episode of Reengineer You. Hello everyone, I am your host of Reengineer You, Cameron Mackachuk, and before we get into today's awesome episode with Jason Klein talking all about bodyweight exercises, travel workouts, and how he incorporates some strength training bodyweight exercises with some cardio to kind of implement both the best of both worlds and get you the best fitness and fat loss results possible, I just want to touch on a quick little project that I have available to you here. And if you're really looking to ramp up your fat loss, or if you have a lot of weight to lose, this is going to be a good system for you if you've tried a lot of other things in the past that just haven't worked for you for whatever number of reasons. And it's the Extreme Fat Loss Blueprint that I've put together here for you. So let's just take a quick look inside here at what's available to you for a very, 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 very low price, for very low investment. So basically you get my entire system of how I help my private clients all wrapped up in a nice little ball for you and delivered through the Extreme Fat Loss Blueprint website. And so you're getting the main program, which is 12 weeks. You get the first 3 phases here is the main program. And then as a bonus for you right now, if you head over there and grab it right now, you're also going to get phase 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's almost an entire year's worth of progressive training programs with video demonstrations of everything, all available to you for a very low investment of, I think it's about $47 right now. So really nothing, and you get an entire year's worth of progressive training programs. It's going to take you from phase 1, where you're starting right now, maybe struggling a little bit with your weight, and progress you all the way through to phase 8, where you've lost, whether it's 20, 30, 40 pounds, or I've had clients lose over 120 pounds using this exact system that you're going to get here. So, and there's also a nutrition module. There's a whole education component with video coaching modules here. So I dive deep in this, and I put a lot into this. So I hope you can see that. So go check it out, extremefatlossblueprint.com, and if for no other reason, go read the inspirational success story that I have laid out there of one of my clients who lost over 103 pounds, totally transformed her entire life. So head over there, extremefatlossblueprint.com, and you can check that out today. All right, so let's get into today's episode. I have Jason Klein on the other end of the call today, and yeah, I know you're gonna get a lot of this. We're talking about bodyweight exercises, mostly bodyweight workouts, and how he designs his bodyweight training programs with his lean body movement clients. So let's jump into the call with Jason Klein. Hello everyone, and welcome to Reengineer You, the show where we talk to some of the world's finest experts to help you train better, eat better, and live better. And today we're definitely going to hit on some train better topics. I got my buddy here, Jason Klein from Lean Body Movement. How's it going, Jason?
Good, man. Thanks, Cam, for having me on, and everyone out there. Just so you know, you're in the right place for what you need to do to succeed with your fitness results. That's all I want to say for now.
Awesome. That's good, man. I mean, it's great having you on the call here today, and I really appreciate you doing this with me. I know we're going to get some great topics here going. So maybe just, I know you have a really kind of unique background story and unique story of how you came into fitness and the people you've worked with in the past. So maybe just give us a little overview about that.
Yeah, man. Well, I really, and I boxed kind of my lifestyle and my story, essentially, and we'll talk about that in a second with my product and everything, what I've got going on. But essentially, I am Jason Klein, from a trainer down from South Dakota in the U.S., and I had been previously living in Georgia for the past six and a half years, finishing up high school, and went to college there. My bachelor's degree was down in Georgia as well. I'm about to finish my master's degree through California, University of Pennsylvania, but that's another story. But essentially, I really began my fitness journey truthfully, and sometimes I leave this out, but it's an integral part of where I began my fitness journey as far as being on the training side to fitness. And that involves, essentially, in 2005, I am obsessed with soccer, the football, some people call it. But I'm a huge Chelsea fan, and so I grew up 3 years old. I was playing soccer as much as possible. So let's fast forward essentially, up until high school. I just made the varsity soccer team when I was a freshman, and I tore my ACL the week after I made the varsity team. And so basically, long story short, my rehabilitation process and the whole journey, with an injury and seeing how the body's working in front of your eyes every single day, whether it being the annoyingness of, having to deal with an injury and you're, propped up for, X amount of months, weeks, getting that rehab done, especially me being fitness, and soccer was my way out. It was my stress reliever. It was my girlfriend. It's maybe a lame part of me, but whatever.
Hey, I was the same way in high school. I was
Yeah,
really into basketball too in that same way.
yeah.
That was essentially my outlet too. So I feel you.
And so that was everything to me. And so after that happened, my passion, which had been soccer and fitness, and what would later be training, it became rehabbing myself. It became learning about my condition, learning about how the ACL rehabilitation process takes place and all that stuff, and I got really deep into it, more than most people with that undergo any type of knee surgery or any surgery. I got involved in every aspect and understanding the parts of the body that were being affected, and especially the rehab process with understanding inhibitions and all this, a laundry list of stuff. So that was really what got me into the fitness industry, and I didn't even really know it yet.
Hmm.
And so I had 2 more years left of high school, essentially 2.5 years, and I got right back and I bounced right back into soccer, and then I had essentially two successful seasons as a two-time varsity captain. And then I graduated high school, moved on to college, and there was no more. I didn't have the opportunity to play varsity soccer yet. Immediately as I got into college, so basically what happened was, I was like, well, um, I had my first job in college was kind of just working at a bookstore, trying to get through my undergrad. And I met my first trainer when I was working at a bookstore, and he just immersed me uh, in the training world, and that's really where I got kicked off at. And then I kind of remembered all the cool things and the transformation I went through with my condition, with my personal profile. And that's really where it took off. And then it just went from there. And then I was a spinning instructor. I just finished on my 4th year. I moved on from that, but I was a spinning instructor for 4 years. I trained hundreds of clients by now, during and after college. I worked I was the trainer that would go from studio across town to the studio to, essentially drawing the star across town.
Yeah.
Just training. That's what I did. I mean, I didn't. I mean, obviously, I did normal college things, if you want to say that. But that was really what I did about 95% of the time, and that was my passion. So that's really where it took off. Now, for me, in a personal another transformation that I had that we'll talk about with Lean Body Revolution is I was so much of an endurance athlete, right? And a lot of people out there are like, well, you can't really relate to me because you were never overweight, you never had that problem. And I've always been meaning to put up, and I think I'm going to do this, pretty soon here. I got a new blog coming up, and I think I'm going to feature it. When I was like a baby up until I was like 3 years old, I was fatter than anything you've ever seen in your life. They called me the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, you
I mean,
definitely have to put that up.
it was hilarious, and you would have never thought that I would look like I do now. You'd be like, "Oh, dude, we're worried about your son there. I mean, he's gonna have some." You would have never thought. Babies are chubby, right? But I was
Yeah.
not chubby. I was not
That's
chubby,
hilarious.
and I would like do some. My dad likes to mimic or mock whatever I used to do whenever I'd see food, and I was laying in my baby chair when I was like a year old, 2 years old. I'd apparently do the weirdest, like I'd spaz out and be so happy that I'd get some food, whatever it was. But anyway, when I was going through just finish up with high school, college, getting involved with training, I realized that I didn't have the physique that I really wanted to, as far as the overall, I didn't have as much definition in my body as I want. I didn't want it to be ripped per se. I want to have the physique, overall, the whole picture, the whole package, the entire package. And I just did a blog on Dan Long's Suspension Revolution blog about that. But I want to I mean, when you picture, the whole package, the entire package, you probably picture it a well-rounded, fitness, well-rounded fitness, the body to go along with it. So essentially, it's look as good as you feel. And I didn't. I was athletic, yeah, but I was kind of what I like to call fit and fat. I was fit, but I had body fat in areas that it didn't make sense to store. But everyone stores body fat a little differently, and I tended to store it still. I always will more around my navel line versus I don't have hardly any fat on my arms, probably none, probably less than 1%. But that's really what I was shooting for. So what I wanted to do is I dove into energy systems training, and I know that you talk a lot about energy systems training. It's nothing new for people like us, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't really understand energy systems training.
Yep.
And it's not really kind of a magic bullet per se, and it's not a kind of a marketed piece of information to have people, come onto it, and it's like a fad like CrossFit or the paleo diet. Energy systems training is something that was, it's like chapter 1 of any physiology, course that we've taken in the past. And so all we do is we are a mirror to that, and we essentially implement energy systems training. And I'll talk to you about interval cardio resistance training in a second. Something that I've coined and meshed to allow me to kind of essentially get the body that I really was looking for. Not just, a good level of fitness and VO2 max, or a good endurance, strength endurance. I wanted, maximal strength and power, but I also wanted the entire package as far as how I looked. I wanted to look as good as I felt.
Yeah.
So that's really where I kind of took off with my fitness. So.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good point too. Like, yeah, you're right. Like I talk a lot about the energy system stuff and or metabolic training or whatever, and that's a big part of what we do with my clients and everything. But yeah, you're right. Like it's shocking how few people actually understand how to incorporate that effectively into their training program. And I still have people that come in to my studio or that I work with online that have never done anything like that before in the past, and they're still kind of stuck in that monotonous, either monotonous cardio workout, or they're, going around in the weight machines at the gym, or they're doing, bicep curls and tricep presses and chest flies and stuff, and they're trying to lose fat, and they're just not getting that right program design into their program. So I think, yeah, it's a big percentage of the population that still doesn't really have a good grasp of what you say, that is right. It's chapter 1 of physiology, essentially, right? Is that energy system development and understanding how to manipulate those different energy systems. So, yeah, so that's awesome. So you're kind of talking about your program there a little bit. I know a big part of it is you do a lot of body weight stuff though, right? Like a big part of it is body weight and kind of workouts you can do anywhere. So maybe talk a little bit about that and about your whole program design, how you design programs for your clients.
Yeah, well, see, kind of my company is Klein Fitness Systems, and my blog, my community is known as the Lean Body Movement, and you can find that at leanbodymovement.com. And going back to kind of where I started, I have a lot of experience for the past year. Now, up until this May, I was training at a naval submarine base down in Florida, pretty much in Florida, North Florida, and they rely on like 90% calisthenics or body weight exercises. And so that was a big part of what I used to do back in college when I was involved in ROTC and training with the Marines and stuff like that. So I wanted to start, at square one. I wanted to start at a good foundation. And also it just so happens to be that that's the most convenient way to train, especially if you don't have the resources.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you know? So that's where I wanted to begin. And plus, I had a particular interest, and that's something that came not so much natural to me. It just came well, and it meshed well with my kind of philosophy of training and my background and where I came from. And so now, if we go to the Lean Body Revolution, that's just the box program of what essentially think of it as my plan of the journey that I took, to get the total package for me. I use there's three main concepts in the program. Pretty simple, pretty foundational, pretty elementary. I combine them in a little different way than a lot of people do. And it's the main concept is called interval cardio resistance training. And what that means is everyone's heard of interval training, and everyone's heard of supersets and probably trisets and quad sets or whatever. But I utilize supersets of I mesh a bodyweight resistance exercise with a cardiovascular, more of an endurance or I'm trying to push the second energy system. And so I'm going to give you guys a little run for your money there. I'm sure you've got a bunch of material on the energy systems. There's three of them. And if you're doing steady state cardio, the thing that we talk so heavily against, just because people use it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's important to strengthen that energy system. But what about the glycolytic energy system, or the more of the phosphagen system? There's if you were to do 10 push-ups as fast as you could just randomly, just drop where you're on 10 push-ups. That's your third energy system that you're using. So it's kind of the fight or flight energy system. Think of it that
all
way.
out sprint sort of thing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm trying to use and push. I'm trying to push all three of those simultaneously, essentially, utilizing the workouts that I have. The original program consists of 12 total sets in a workout and 6 supersets. So you're combining, let's just say, break it down pretty simple, we've got like negative push-ups or a decline push-up, a different variation, whatever variation I have on there. And then you would go into something like a high knee, and you'd be you'd focus on explosion, but you'd also have some endurance in there as well. So everything is based on 25 reps for the resistance exercises and 25 seconds intervals for the cardio. So that's how it's done. And then there's a rest period, kind of a strategic rest period in between those supersets. And then you go to your second and third and fourth, fifth, sixth. And that's the workout. So the workouts are also, I've deemed that the 15-minute body method. And because all the workouts are averaging actually less than 15 minutes, but it's guaranteed that you'll take 15 minutes or less for each workout.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great thing to, combine those two, like a kind of a more of a strength training, resistance type body weight exercise with that kind of cardio, sprinting or whatever type exercise.
Right.
And yeah, that's a really good way to do that. So so with the strength training, you do 25 reps of a particular strength training exercise, and you pair that with 25 seconds of like a high knee or like what else, like a jumping jack or sprinting in place or something like that. Is that right?
Yep. Those are good examples. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's awesome. And then how many times do you do those back and forth like that for the superset? Did you say?
So there are 6 total supersets. So it's 12 total exercises naturally.
Right.
And you just do that once.
Oh, okay.
You don't repeat those in rounds. But your rest periods, I emphasize very specific rest periods, based on fitness level, obviously. But that would be the entire workout card. And it's funny that I wanted to make my first program quality and original and challenging, and then I started taking I took people. I mean, ideally, I work with 26 to 40-year-old guys.
Okay.
Most of my, there's so many clients, female clients that I've had that have taken themselves through the program as well, which is cool to watch happen, especially if, some of the females are showing up the guys with the workout times, they're beating their times.
Yeah.
But also, like 95%, there's like maybe actually less than 5% of people that are just, their fitness level is through the roof, that actually prefer to do like two workouts back to back.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty. One workouts can get your system pretty revved up. It can challenge all energy systems, so you feel it through the rest of the day.
Yeah. No, I can completely tell that for sure. I like that'd be something great to do if you were in like a hotel room or something too,
Yeah.
or traveling, or didn't have a lot of equipment or anything too. That's a great way to get a quick workout in for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and so you're talking about that people beat their times. So do you kind of recommend them to go through it, and then the next time they do it, try to go through it faster and beat your kind of compete against yourself and beat the time it takes you to get through it?
Yeah, I mean that's not the number one priority.
Yeah.
Obviously, number priority is form,
Right.
but
Yeah.
definitely that's an aspect to the program. It's a 6 week body transformation program,
Right.
and so I have a schedule that you can follow, or I have my personal program that you can that you can have the option to get if you want to get that, which is pretty cool because you don't have to worry. All you have to do is show up for the workout essentially and say, okay, well, what am I doing today, and then you keep yourself on track. But essentially, you'll have the opportunity to pair, pending the fitness level, you'll have the opportunity to repeat a workout if you so choose
Mm.
to beat your previous time. Therefore, you're showing yourself and you're showing, on paper even that you're progressing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a good periodization model for, strength and endurance and getting that whole package that you want to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I could totally see that. That's awesome. That's really good, man. Well, what I ask everyone is, I want maybe tell me just one thing. What one thing people could do in the next week that would have a big impact on their body, on their life, on their nutrition, training, whatever. What would be your one thing to tell people that they should focus on for this next week?
You know what? There's two that are battling in my head right now, which
Everyone always has two.
I don't normally have that happen, but I guess it's good to have an excess versus not
Yeah,
any.
it's not a
But
bad thing.
so what I wanted to, and I've been writing kind of in the blogosphere, all over online. Actually, the past month, I kind of devoted my writing to the dynamic warm up,
Mm.
and it's kind of evolved. Back in the '80s, everyone, and even today, but even for trainers back in the '80s and '90s, everything was static stretching. Everything was okay. Hold you gotta stretch your hammies. You gotta stretch it out. You gotta hold it for whatever 30, 40, 50, no, 90 seconds. Um,
Yeah.
and there's no doubt that yoga based in related stretching is so beneficial to the body.
Yeah.
But how tiring can yoga be?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, can be very tiring
Yep.
on the musculature, on the whole body. It can make you sweat. Everyone, if you're watching this, there's probably a 98% chance you've done yoga
Yeah.
or seen it happen. So it can be a good, workout in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to devote my last month, August, to the dynamic warm up, and so I published a series of articles online about that. And so the dynamic warm up resembles, and it's a more efficient way to prime, if you will, the muscles that you're going to be using, the musculature that you're going to be using for your movements. So, for example, now I can send you this if you want me to, but essentially think of if you are going to be doing it on your workout. Let's just say you're going to be doing a good amount of squats or lunges. Well, you're going to be doing more of a specific warm up as a dynamic warm up. You're going to be mimicking the actual movement that you're going to be doing, and that's more in relation to a dynamic warm up.
Mm-hmm.
Think of raising or slightly elevating the tissue of the muscles that you're going to be using before you work out. And I've got so many examples of I actually have like 3 or 4 full dynamic warm-ups that anyone can do over at Lean Body Movement. I can hand those to you. I'm sure you've got plenty of them.
Yeah, definitely send those over. I'll put a link to it below the video here. So yeah, for sure.
Sure. And so that's kind of my tip, or my one piece of advice that I've been just hitting on lately a lot, and that is to implement some sort of dynamic warm up, because think of there's a lot of different philosophies on, well, if you have to do one or the other, which would you do, a warm up or a cool down? Well, just think of, this is the analogy that I give to all my clients, and I've given this since the first day I started training clients, which is the best analogy I could ever think of. Think of, just take out a piece of gum out of a wrapper, fresh piece of gum, and you're going to rip that apart. You're going to tear it apart. See how long it takes it to tear apart. You're going to take another piece of gum. You're going to chew it for 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. You're going to take it out of your mouth and you're going to try to tear it apart and see how long it takes it to tear apart.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, the muscles in your muscles have a lot of the same chemical properties as gum does. It really does, like literal properties. Not identical, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
We're not Gumby. But
yeah.
to say the least, your muscles resemble so much of what the process of that analogy. So just think of whenever before you ponder doing a warm up or not before your workout, think of that analogy, because that's really what's going on with your musculature. So
that's a really good analogy. I've actually never heard that before, but I'm going to steal that from you, I think, and use it with my clients.
Do it.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I actually I didn't write a whole month's series worth of it or anything, but I just wrote a couple posts on dynamic warm up and everything too, because it's something that, yeah, like I think it goes back to what you were saying with the energy system stuff too. It's something that, I mean, it just comes second nature to us, and we just think it's so obvious, but it's like to everyone else that's out there that's not in that world, it's not as obvious, and people are still static stretching for 2 minutes, holding each muscle and hamstring stretches and stuff like that, and they're still getting injured with pulled muscles and sore backs or whatever, and just because they're not warming up properly. And so yeah, I think that's a very important thing for people to do, is to warm up properly and hit some dynamic movements and get some of that mobility work in their warm up, so you don't break like a stick of gum. All right, man. Well, that's awesome. Maybe do you have any closing thoughts for us before I wrap up the show? Where can people find out more about you? That's a good way to finish off.
Well, they could find me at leanbodymovement.com is really where my community is online. That's where all my articles are published, all that stuff. So all the new things that are coming out. I've actually got a new lean body movement kind of reinvented 2.0 coming out, and it's going to look sick. It's going to look amazing. Yeah. And hopefully that'll be done, after we hang out this weekend in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But but people can visit me at leanbodymovement.com.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that. That's coming out in what, October? End of October, right? That
yep.
2.0?
Lean Body Revolution 2.0 should be coming out in Halloween, so you can check that out.
Okay.
The end of October. So.
And this, what you were just talking about, the lean body movement, that's something different?
Lean Body Movement is where my blog is, where I publish
I
all my materials online. I give out so much free content, and it's insane how much free stuff. Yeah, you do pump out a lot of good stuff. But and so do you, my friend. I mean, we probably. It's insane how much free stuff is out there. But Lean Body Revolution 2.0 is going to have at least 25 follow-along workouts. It's going to be awesome follow-along workouts. So it'll be cool.
Nice. Yes. Well, definitely. I'll let everyone know about that too as the date comes near. But yeah, definitely check out leanbodymovement.com. Definitely a great source for a lot of articles and videos and other interviews. I think there's actually an interview with me on there somewhere. So if you dig deep enough, you can probably find that somewhere too. And so yeah, check that out. And that's it. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of Reengineer You. As always, if you enjoy this episode, please like it, tweet it, stumble it, pin it, share it, +1 it, whatever you guys have down there. Just click one of the buttons below and get this information out to the world, because everyone needs to do more body weight, interval resistance, cardio training workouts. Is that the right acronym? Interval cardio resistance training?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So get this out to the world, and I will see you guys in the next episode.
See you guys.